You do not put your viewpoints in the most condensed manner, then you confuse others. So it is not proper when you work in a group. So put your words, put your views very clearly. This is very imperative. And next is ability to remain calm even in stress. What happens is, nowadays, if something occurs which I dislike, so I react it sharply. I criticize. Always blame others. If I fail, it is not because of me, it is because of others. The blame game starts. So, in such cases, when there is failure, for example, or when there are points when you disagree with others, when there are events which you always disapprove, which you may not like, but in such situation, what is significant, what is imperative is to maintain cool, to appreciate others is very important aspect. So you, instead of falling prey to stress, because ultimately it affects the work culture of the group. So what I should do is, instead of falling prey to stress, I must maintain calm and cool. I must try to tolerate others. I must be very very kind to others. Instead of blaming, I should try to see why it happened and how I can solve the problem. So this is very important aspect of the group discussion, and this activity actually provides all of us an opportunity to test ourselves, number one, and next, to develop these skills when we are part of a group. So group discussion is a very important event in the corporate sectors as well as any field of the human life. I may turn to the next slide and see the methodology, how the group discussions are held. I think some of you might have already faced. So, a couple of things we must bear in mind. Number one, candidates are made to sit in a circle or semicircle or in a rectangular formation. See, this is very important. It is not a kind of classroom arrangement, friends. You may recollect when you were in a group, you face each of you personally. So there is always a kind of eye to eye contact. It is not classroom situation where you have to face only the teacher or teacher is facing you, and you cannot face each other. I mean, students each other. So what happens is, here it is very important that you are in a group sitting in circle or semicircle formation, so that you can face each other, you can concentrate on your views, and you may positively and effectively present your views. Next, as a rule, no one conducts the discussion. It is very important, friends. All of you are leader, all of you are participant, all of you are leader as well as all of you are follower. So there is a kind of self discipline which is very important in a group discussion. It means which is very important as well when you are working in a group. So friends, self discipline is a kind of inevitable part of this group discussion, because there is no leader, there is no conductor as such. So one has to obey some norms when you are participating the group discussion. And third is, the topic is not necessarily announced beforehand. What happens is, the organization may give you the topic some days before also, or when you come together for group discussion, the evaluator may tell you that this is the topic. So what happens is, if you get the topic well in advance, you can prepare so that you can concentrate. But if the topic is announced at the time of group discussion, just few minutes before that, it is a real testing for each of the participants. How you understand the problem, how you put your views, how in depth detail kind of analysis you can do. All these are tested when the topic is not announced beforehand. So there are two things. The topics may be announced beforehand or they may not be announced beforehand, but when you come across and at the starting point of the group discussion, you are given the topic. So you have got hardly 5 to 10 minutes to think before you start the group discussion. But this is real testing. It tests you thoroughly. It tests each of the participants. So these are the formalities. Next, you can see still there are some methodologies. When you organize this for yourself. We must bear in mind how to arrange the group discussions. The group discussion might be stopped even before the stipulated time is over. Generally, in the organized or formal kind of group discussions, time limit is always there. Generally, it is 20 to 25 minutes depending on the case. But if the testing is over and evaluator feels that he has tested and identified deserving candidates, he must stop at any given moment. Again, if he feels that there is a digression, there is a diversion of the topic, and it is not going through proper channel and proper line, he must stop. Next, the candidates might be asked to present conclusions. This occurs in most of the cases of group discussion. So they are asked to present. There are again two things. A candidate is selected to present the views, and the evaluator may ask each of them to present the views and conclusions. So that way also it is a kind of testing. If there is unanimity, then one of them may present the conclusions of the group discussion. But if the evaluator feels that each of them is to be tested and each of them should put their views individually, then each of the participants is required to present the views, overall views or comments on the topics of the group discussion. Next, the vigilant evaluator observes proceedings to identify the deserving candidates. He is standing in a corner, for example. He is not participating. He is neither encouraging nor disappointing any of them. He is not helping also either. But he is there as a by listener, and he observes each of the movements, each of the comments which have been passed, and then he identifies the deserving candidates. Next, there are three types of group discussions, and I may talk about that. It would be very helpful, friends, when you organize this type of activity in your college or in any other institutions. So generally, the group discussions may be classified into the three different categories. Number one is topic based, which is most popular kind of activity. Number two is case study, and number three is group task. I am sure, friends, in your college days you might have arranged so many kind of activities in which you have to work in a group. So number 1 point is there, and number 3 point, that is group tasks. So what happens is, you do it without knowing that you are doing the activity of group discussion. So I may talk about the first, that is topic based group discussion. What happens is, a topic is given. It is kind of ordinary kind of activity, and all of us are very much familiar with that. So you have to talk about a specific topic, and this tests the candidate's skill and abilities on the basis of the following. The topics may be identified again in a three different categories. One is factual topics. They are fact based topics. For example, global warming, effect of industrialization on the environment. So fact based, you have to present or pollution, for example. They are fact based. You may not boast anything that this is the result of this and that. No, you have some proofs, you have some statistics, you have some data. On the basis of that, you can argue in favor or the against of the factual topics. So they are very interesting part. This tests your thorough knowledge of the topic or facts. Number 2 is controversial topics. Just now, friends, I was talking about cricket matches. What happens is the continual failure of the Indian cricket team. Then we start talking, hey, this senior should be removed, the youngsters should be given chance. This type of, actually, these are the matters which are not our cup of tea, but still we talk about them. For example, again, recently, reservation for minorities. Again, it is one of the most controversial issues. I may also like to talk about the visit of British writer of Indian origin, Salman Rushdie's visit to India. He is expected to visit India for a literary festival in Rajasthan. But still, there are arguments and counter arguments. So these are some of the cases of controversial issues, and it is better that we keep this kind of controversial issues away from the ambience of the group discussion. So this thing must be avoided. These are the topics which best fit to the news channels. They are always encouraging this type of controversial issues. They encourage just to fetch more viewership. So when we talk about the formal or informal group discussions, if you want to organize group discussions in your institutions, it is better that you keep away this type of controversial issues. Instead of that, better go for the factual topics. And next is abstract topics. Generally what happens is these are the topics which are often asked in your examinations. Honesty is the best policy, for example. Time is money, or hard work always pays, virtue is rewarded. So this type of abstract things, and it is very easy for all of us to talk about these points. So these are the three different categories of the topic based group discussions. Next is case studies, which is very important. And this type of group discussions are held generally in the organizations. When a case is given, and you have to put forward your views with different angles. If, for example, there is a kind of problem, strike problem or hunger strike, for example, in the company, the workers have given you the notice of the strike. Now, how to solve these problems? In such cases, officers and various people come together and they discuss various aspects of the issue, and then they evolve some consensus. There may be arguments, there may be pros and cons of each of the stand, but what happens is it allows each of you to share your views, to see the problem, same problem with different angles, and it helps a kind of where it is encouraged by the corporate, and it encourages various views, various comments, various pros and cons kind of arguments, and this helps the organization in the end. So case study is given, the problem is one, but solutions are plenty, and that way the management can evolve a kind of consensus about the problem. This helps a great deal, and each of the participants feels significance. He feels privileged. Yes, my voice is heard, and he or she can be more willing to work with more strength and spirit. So case studies are a typical kind of group discussions which generally occur in the corporate field. And next, case studies again, very important point is role play, and this is a kind of mock drill. For example, fire safety measures. What happens is, if you are not familiar with the things and equipments, you cannot help yourself when it is a fire. So disaster management, and you can have a role play. Yes, there is a fire in the organization, how can we work? And this kind of role play or mock drill helps in future to identify the issues which may be faced by the company in future. But because of the role play, you are well versed and well aware of the problems, so it is always easy for you to solve the problems if you pass through this type of activity, case studies and role play. So it gives you practical knowledge, and you may sort out problems very easily because of role play. You know the problem, you know how to face them, you also know how they occur and how you can solve them. And each of the roles, those who play in the role play, they also decide their responsibility. Yes, I have to do this thing, I have to rush there, I have to call him, I have to contact police, I have to contact 108. So in role play, your role is fixed, your responsibility is fixed, and you know what you have to do when such type of disasters take place. So this type of activity is very important, and generally organizations conduct this type of role play very often. Terrorism is a major issue, so very often, as you know, at the airports also they organize role play in the form of mock drill. So they test themselves whether they are well equipped. If the problem occurs, how best they can solve it, how best they can address it. In such situation, role play plays an important role. And the third is group task. Friends, you might have organized days, you might have organized picnics in your college, and you might have arranged so many programs. While arranging these things, you come across with so many friends. What you do is you divide the whole group, maybe of 20 or 30, into subgroups, and each of the subgroups is assigned one specific task. For example, you are arranging a seminar, friends. What happens is not all of the team members do each and every task. No, what you do is you subdivide the whole group into subgroups of 5 or 6. One group, for example, is assigned the task of registration, the other group is given the task of hospitality, even the third group is given the task of taking care of the resource persons. Again, one more group is there which may try to see the stage facilities, equipments and accommodations. So what happens is you divide the whole group into subgroups. It gives you autonomy. Each of the group has to work in independent way, but in subgroup also they discuss the topic, they discuss their assigned task, and they work out some common conclusion that we have to do this. And among the group members you also identify the responsibility that Mr. X would do, Mrs. Y would do this thing, and Z would do this thing. You also set the time limit that by Monday you have to finish up to this much of the task. By Tuesday you will have to do up to this, and you will meet him on Friday, for example. What happens is subgroup works in the most autonomous way, but the overall effect is wonderful because no group is interfering the other group, but each of the subgroups work in a coordinated manner. So it is not that X is also ringing to the resource person and Y is also ringing. No. If it is the task of A group to contact the resource persons, the B group will not even touch upon that topic. B group will take care of, for example, accommodation. So when the guests arrive, they will take the charge of the guest, they will provide the hospitality.